Oh, you're going to like this. Go ahead, Theory.
And yet I always seem to second guess, cause of my skin tone, they saying that I'm just a guest. Plus I was 30, so they started coming at my neck. So many shots been fired, I've been feeling like I need a vest. I'ma show them what I got, and all the ones who said I'd fail, I'll admit my shit is hot. And all the ones who came before me, I'ma see them at the top. Cause I ain't never gonna stop, now I ain't never gonna stop until I drop.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Speak Up, Show Up, Lead. This podcast is made to inspire those who are kind of at the bottom to do better. And, you know, I'm a veteran, so of course I like inspiring veterans, but I feel like anybody that has that voice inside that tells them that they're not enough and that they're at the bottom and they can't do anything else deserves to hear a voice that says, that's not freaking true. Speaking of the name of this podcast, here's the name of my book. Here's my book. That's also the name of my book, is what I was trying to say. Speak Up, Show Up, Lead, a veteran story of grit, growth, and leadership from the ground up. And it's not just a story, it is my story. And it talks about me starting from beginnings and all the lessons I've learned from then all the way up to now, and just kind of inspiring you to push past it. I've got a lot of great reviews for this book. Check it out. Amazon.com, Speak Up, Show Up, Lead by J.J. Hardy. That's me. All right, so let's get right into it. This episode today is about the lies that leaders tell themselves. So let's break that down a little bit. A lot of times we believe certain things just because we've heard somebody else say it. You know, we choose to have the need for control, so we might say it. There are many reasons why we could believe things that are false, but at the end of the day, if you let those false things run your day-to-day, you're going to be less successful as a person. If you're a manager at work, you're going to be less successful there, whatever the case may be. So what I will say is that I have a few things that I wrote down that I'm going to talk a little bit about today that are directly related to that. First being is that a lot of times we believe that we don't have time. We're going to break that down in a second. Another one is, if I want anything done right, I should just go ahead and do it myself. We're going to unpack that in a second as well. And another one is, my team already knows what I expect, or maybe my kids already know what I expect, or maybe people already know what I expect, whatever the case may be. But we're going to unpack that in a second too. But we're going to go over each point in order. And, you know, just make sure that when you listen to this, if this isn't something that interests you, tell me. Also, let me know, comment wherever you see the show, and just let me know what you do want, and I'll go over it. I enjoy this stuff, but I'm not just here to flap my jaws. I'm here to help y'all out. Anyway, let's keep moving right along. So let's start off with, I don't have time. If anything is important, it's worth the extra work. And also, if it's important, you can say you don't have time, but at the end of the day, you always make time for those things that are important. So saying that you don't have time, what does that actually mean? That doesn't mean that you don't have time overall. That means you don't have time for that thing. So if you say that, you're choosing to believe that you don't want to add anything else to your plate. And if it's something specific that you don't want to add to your plate, you're saying that that thing is not valuable to you. But if you are afraid to add more stuff to your plate, just know this: the only way to become more resilient is to lean into the hard stuff. And sometimes it's very uncomfortable. Well, not sometimes, usually it is very uncomfortable to take on additional tasks when you're already busy doing things. But when you make things hard and you do things that are a little difficult or uncomfortable, you learn something about yourself. And if you don't learn anything else in a situation like that, you might just learn that you really don't have time. But you might learn, and you'll likely learn, that if it's important enough, you'll make that time, because there's always time. So the next thing and the next point that we talked about was, if I want something done right, I'm going to go ahead and do it myself. Why is that false? Well, oftentimes people say this when they feel like they need to be in control. This is a very controlling statement. If I want something done right, I'm going to do it myself. And let me tell you why. Because, let's just say, have you ever been in a situation where you're doing something, it's taken a while, but somebody comes in and helps you and it gets done a lot faster? But maybe they do it a little bit differently than you did, but at the end of the day, that thing still got done. So were you wrong doing it the way you were doing it? No. Were they wrong doing it the way that they were doing it? No. Things don't have to be done your way. They also don't have to be done at your speed, even though I'm guilty of wanting things to be done fairly quickly. I will say that it is always good to accept help. And if you're a manager at work, or if you're in that leadership position, if you want to be a leader, you have to learn how to delegate. If you feel like you're the only one that can do the job extremely well, you're wrong and you're lying to yourself. And even if you do it the best out of anybody on your team, them doing it instead of you doing it means that you can focus on something else while they are doing that thing. And that frees you up a little bit. So don't get caught in the lie that you're the only one that can do something. And let's go ahead and point out one more thing about that. Eventually, one day, you're going to die. And then who's going to do that thing then? Or one day you're going to retire. Who's going to do that thing then? The wheel keeps rolling whether you're on that wagon or not. All right. So say you are in a management position, and you tell yourself that your people already know what you expect. If you are a leader at home and you say, these kids, they already know what I expect. Or you're married and you say, my spouse already knows what I expect. Or even with your friends, if you say, they already know what I expect. The military taught me something very powerful about that statement. There is no such thing as an implied task. And just because you set the expectation doesn't mean you don't need to follow up on it. Doesn't mean you need to follow up on it. And say you're a business owner, it works the same way. Your customers don't even know what you expect most of the time. People are not mind readers. And also so they forget. Nobody's perfect. Remember that. Always remember that. So let's go ahead and point something else out that is very, very powerful here. And that thing is that, if you think that you don't have time for stuff, well, you always have time for stuff if it's important. But if you use the phrase, if I want something done right, I'm going to do it myself, or if you think to yourself that people already know what you expect, that's going to cause you to be the only one doing the things that you feel like need done. And that's a very lonely road. Not only is it a very lonely road, but you're going to burn yourself out. You got to surround yourself with people that will help you out. And if you're a manager or in some sort of a leadership position at work and you think that way, your job's going to be difficult. Delegating and trusting others is one of the most important things you can do as a manager. If you don't, burnout is much more likely. By delegating and allowing people to do things, it frees you up to do other things. I said this a few minutes ago. And if you're willing to free yourself up so that you can do other things and you can trust those other people to do the things that need to be done, like what you're supposed to do anyway, that's kind of what a manager is. They manage the tasks. They don't actually do all of them. Well, then you're also creating a culture built around trust. And when you hold these people accountable for doing these things, it provides trust and accountability. What a powerful thing this is. It just really, really is. So just know that whatever lies you believe and act on, I won't even say lies, anything that you believe and you choose to make that a core belief, you will run your life by those things. When I grew up, I was poor. We didn't have money. There was a lot of physical and emotional abuse going on in my house, not just with me, but also my brother, one of my brothers anyway, the one that's now passed. But, you know, we were always told that we weren't any good. We were always told that we couldn't do things, that you shouldn't even try, that you don't want to disappoint yourself, so you shouldn't give things a shot. And what does that do? If people don't believe in themselves and they don't try new things, then they never get anywhere. So if I believed that, I wouldn't be anywhere. I wouldn't have had a successful military career. I wouldn't have a business right now. I wouldn't be building relationships and starting new ventures all over the place. Wouldn't have a podcast. Wouldn't have 3 podcasts. So just think about that. That concludes this episode. My name is JJ Hardy, the veteran coach, And before we sign off, I'm going to do another plug for my book. Please check it out. Speak Up, Show Up, Lead. A veteran story of grit, growth, and leadership from the ground up. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.